break free from your limiting beliefs this week.
Yes.
Yay! Let's do it.
Let's try and become more aware of what's weighing us down and what kind of belief set we actually have.
Could be a number of them.
Could be lots of them.
We used to have so many.
Definitely.
We did. So listen to this week's episode of Get Real with the English Sisters. Come and see us on YouTube too, where we have the full video and podcast version both available. And wherever you get your podcasts, thank you for listening. Take a deep breath. I remember when we first, how many times have we said this? When we first learned about limiting beliefs, it was a light bulb moment for us.
It was such a light bulb moment.
Such a
You're
shock.
so right, because it was a shock. Yeah, I really...
I didn't know they existed.
No, when the life coach, we went to this seminar, wasn't it? And he said, just each one of you think about what kind of beliefs do you have that are actually limiting you. And there was just so many old beliefs.
Well, I just didn't even know that you had these beliefs in the first place. I thought belief was just like a religious belief or I don't know. I didn't think that we believed things about ourselves that could make such a huge difference to our lives and to stop
our emotional
wellness. Stopping us from being able to do things.
Yeah, just like the belief, no, I'm not good enough to do that. I'm not competent enough. I'm not clever enough. I'm not artistic or creative enough. I mean, how many times have we all said these things to ourselves? And where do they actually form, these beliefs?
Well, they form in childhood, don't they?
Yeah.
A lot of the times. Or like from past trauma, we have a voice in our head saying that you're not good enough to do that. Or you're just not that kind of person.
I mean, I remember in our art lessons, do you remember?
Yeah.
We had that art teacher who was all full of herself, but really she was not a good teacher. And I remember doing some drawings, and I was so little.
They said she would say they were rubbish.
And yeah, she came by and I think I had a piece of clay and I was doing something with it. She goes, well, what are you trying to do with that? And it was that kind of expression on her face that sort of made me start believing, oh, I'm not good at this. And then afterwards, it was just the whole of art in general. You know, if I ever wanted to draw something, and I had a natural tendency to want to paint and to want to draw like 99% of kids do. But I was stunted by that belief that was set like at 6 or 7, already so young, by this very egocentric teacher who was not a good teacher. It was the contrary, and installed those beliefs. There was only 1 or 2 children in the class that she loved, and she would clap and say, oh, now that's good peace, that's what we can define good. And all the rest of the stuff that all of us did was
and she wouldn't teach you how to do things either.
No.
Because
she would just give you a piece of clay and say...
she wouldn't say, look, this is how to draw a house, or this is how to give you some structure to teach you how to do things.
Nothing.
I mean, now if you look online or on YouTube...
How to draw a human face.
Yes, it's so easy, the way they break things down of how to draw things.
Yes. But that in me blocked all of my creativity as a kid. And I still think about that today, because there is I love colour. I love painting. I would, but that kind of limited me. And I thought, as an adult, that's definitely one limiting belief.
So are you going to break free from that
I
this
already
week?
have.
But you're going to actually draw something or paint something. You said I love colour.
I do love it. Oh, I love it so much. And my husband, he loves painting. Yeah. Yes, very much.
So maybe you could have that project this week.
I could. That would be very relaxing.
To paint something together, maybe.
That would be lovely. I think I will if we've got time. Definitely.
Well, that's not
it's
good
making
enough.
time. It's making time. You're right.
If we've got time. You see, you're already blocking yourself.
Because I was just thinking this weekend he actually has to work.
Yeah,
so it's a particular, but next weekend.
You can still have an hour though, can't you? If he has to work.
Yeah, absolutely.
an hour in the evening or whatever. It
Yeah,
doesn't
he's
take
actually
long.
he's actually got a lot of his paintbrushes and his paints.
Well, even if he has to work, you don't. So
No.
you could do it.
I could do it, and I think I would really enjoy it.
You
actually,
could paint some marguerites or flowers or
something something I like, absolutely. And just mixing colours, I love it. And I was thinking, she that teacher installed that belief in me, and the other teacher was the other one who was like, I had great difficulty understanding numbers, and they would just like mix up, and which is what nowadays they're probably part of dyslexia. I don't know exactly what it's called. Dyscalculia.
Dyscalculus.
Yes, it's like when the numbers were just moving around on the blackboard. So I had really, really great difficulty in being able to add up or subtract. And so that was another great disadvantage for me. And once again, instead of being helped, I used to hide under the table, and I used to get hit because in those days we were, they would still hit in schools, in English schools. And so that certainly formed the belief that I was very, very bad at anything to do with mathematics. And I formed a very quick belief that numbers would always run away from me, and I would never be able to make them stand still and being able to do things with them. And so I totally gave up on that. Now, as an adult, I find ways to help myself. I found ways to help myself and to understand it a little bit more.
And to learn, you can learn how to do things.
I learn how to do things, and I've learned how to.
And just because you haven't got maybe with numbers particularly, but you still got very much a business mind now.
Yes.
So that doesn't, things can translate in different ways.
Yes,
can't they?
Absolutely. And you can use.
So if you're thinking here, I've got a limiting belief that's stopping me from whatever it is, learning how to drive or.
Oh yeah, that's another big one, isn't it? That was a
difficult one. I mean, I had to take my driving test 7 times, or 6 or 7. I can't remember exactly. But I just kept going until I got it. And I just thought, no, I'm not giving up on this.
No, it was a really important skill.
But it was difficult. Now, if I had to, I just didn't even understand what the roads did or anything. It was just it was part of this.
Yes, because we both have it,
this dyslexia, dyspraxia, whatever it is. But
we were never diagnosed. But now, as adults, obviously, we realise that's what it was.
Yeah.
That's absolutely what it was.
I don't have that anymore as an adult. I can look and see things in different ways. I've broken free from those beliefs as well that maybe I had about myself.
Yeah. Yeah, you still might have it to a certain extent, but what you can do is you can appreciate the fact that you've got it and help yourself in other ways. You can find tools to help yourself or... so in the end, we've got to all realise that we all do have limiting beliefs, and they are formed very young many times, or they're formed by a parent a lot of the time that, they might make us feel we're not good enough.
Or I think that as well, I'm thinking we do often try to combat this thing naturally. But then we get demoralised because we don't really actually understand it. It's a limiting belief. I think once you can classify it as a limiting belief,
awareness
it just makes
is
things
essential.
so much easier because you can just say, no, is that true? No. Well, maybe it is true today. Maybe today I'm not good at painting, but if I took an art class, I would be good at it.
Or maybe I don't need an art class and I can just do whatever I want to do on a piece of paper, on canvas. I can just paint for myself. Do you know?
Well, yes, but I'm imagining if you're a little bit of a perfectionist, you might not be happy with just messing around,
dabbling.
Dabbling. So then you could, if you really wanted to become competent at something, there's nothing actually stopping you from actually learning how to do it properly with someone that's going to motivate and inspire you
and teach you, as teaching should be.
Yeah.
To learn, to really learn, and not to be demoralized and
put down.
Exactly. Yeah, and made to feel that you're not good enough at something, that you'll never be good enough at that. And I think you're right. All of these beliefs that we have, once we're suddenly, it's like the light bulb that we had. Once we realize, hey, is this true? Or maybe that's also a limiting belief of mine. Maybe I have a belief that I'm never going to be good at driving, or I'm never going to be able to own my business because I don't have good math skills, for example. Or is that really true?
Yeah, or a good business mindset to know how to like do all my taxes and everything. But you can actually get people to help you do that.
Nobody knows that at the beginning. You learn it as you go along. And nowadays you can really read stuff online. You can learn so much. So you don't necessarily have to know everything immediately.
No, you might be one of these people that's had this limiting belief about yourself that you couldn't, say, become a doctor, or because you just wouldn't be able to go through with it, and because someone's told you and put you down. And you can just say, today could be the day when you just free yourself from that and say, no, I'm actually going to study to be a doctor. I'm going to take a degree. I'm going to do whatever it takes to do it. And you can maybe start small by helping out, or being, doing something of a voluntary thing.
It's step by step.
It is.
It's step by step, and literally step by step, you will start knocking down those blocks that are limiting you and that are forming this belief. Because what happens is that once you see yourself actually achieving something, then you can question whether that belief is really 100% accurate, and what exactly was it based on. Because if it's something that you do not want to do, then that's not a limiting belief. That is perhaps a belief that is actually helping you in some way. You believe.
Yeah, but you might have had a dream of something that secretly you would have loved to do, but you just feel that deep down in your heart you're not good enough. And that deep down in your heart is not a real deep down in your heart. It's because you have a limiting belief around that.
That is
because
so true.
Someone has installed it in you.
Or the environment.
Because we're all born with that, being able to the capacity to have infinite possibilities to do whatever we want to do.
Yes, you're so right. It's deep down inside. What is this deep down inside? Deep down inside, your gut tells you one thing, and then your limiting belief pushes it down. So that's what happens, because there's something that you want to do, but then the limiting belief comes along and pushes it, sometimes so deep down that you even forget. You forget
to dream, don't you?
You forget to dream. You forget what you actually wanted to do in the first place. And you become just overwhelmed by it, and you start listening to everybody else and all of their ideas.
Yeah, and a lot of people might try and discourage you as well, saying it's too difficult, it's too expensive, you haven't got this, you
weren't born in the right place. You do not have the right kind of culture for that. We're not that kind of family. I mean, I've heard this so many times, this belief installed in younger people. No, we don't, that's not in our family sort of line. We're not, like, for example, business people. No. We're all doctors or something. The opposite, academics. You can't start just suddenly opening up your own business. That's not, that's not the kind of people we are. Come on, each one of us has something that we know we are.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it gets reinforced with autosuggestion, because you auto-suggest to yourself again and again about this limiting belief. So you keep saying you're not good at it. You don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to do that.
I'm not good at that. Oh, my drawing is terrible. Oh, my driving is. Oh, I'm a really bad driver.
We had that funny story about our dad when once we went away and we said, "Can you look after the fish for us?" Because we had a little fish pond, and he said, "I don't know how to feed the fish." And I thought, what?
You don't
know how to feed the fish, Dad. Come on.
You just put a little bit of food.
So now whenever we reinforce our limiting belief about it, we say, we don't know. I don't know how to feed the fish.
Yeah.
Maybe you can have that as well. I mean, you learn to feed the fish. It's easier.
It's easier than what you think it is. And even if it's not, it's putting yourself through that little challenge, isn't it? Or that big challenge, but you're going to challenge your own belief set. And once you understand that it's there, because it's this sneaky thing, and it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy once you start repeating that belief to yourself over and over again. So let's use this to our advantage. We can say things like, I don't know how to do that yet.
Exactly.
I maybe wasn't competent at that, but I'm going to, do my very best to become competent at that. You can change things. You can have a belief set that for you, anything is possible. Exactly. You can believe that. You can start believing that and say, I don't know how to do it. No, but I can learn. And I sure as hell am going to try and learn.
And you all know that we're all about lifelong learning, so there's plenty of time for everything. Isn't there?
There is. There is.
Learning doesn't stop when you get to 18 or 20 or 24. Let us know what you're going to break free from this week.
Yes.
Which limiting belief you are, and I'm sure you may have a few as we did. And it's amazing how it can really change you might be deciding what to do now, what university to go to, or maybe you're a bit older and you're deciding what like some people have the belief, for instance, I couldn't be a parent, I'm not a good mother, or I'm not a good father. That's rubbish. It's not, if you want to be a mother or a father or a parent, you can do it, because all you really need is love and good intention, and then you can learn how to do all the tricky bits in between.
I remember once when I was going to become a mum, I remember reading in this book, and it said, if you've already bought this book about how to become a good parent, you already are.
Exactly.
That was in the introduction. So I think, like what you were saying, the intention of even worrying about becoming a good parent is because your intention is to become a good parent.
Exactly.
And if you didn't have good parents, you can break free from that too. It doesn't mean that you're not going to be a good parent. You're going to become aware of everything in a different kind of way for your future.
Exactly. And I didn't go to fashion school. I wanted to go to fashion university because I thought I wasn't good at drawing because of this
teacher that we
both
had
that said we weren't artistic, and I never did learn how to do it. And they're just simple sketches you have to do, which now as a fully grown adult I realised it was the most stupid thing of all time.
Yeah.
But anyway, my life turned out very well, and I have no regrets that I didn't do that, and I can still do it if I want to. But
it just goes to show
how a limiting belief can really change the course of your life, and for the better or for the worse. In my case, it was for the better because I'm perfectly happy and satisfied with it. But it does
make you wonder.
I do think about it, and I think, gosh, could have been a totally different life.
Absolutely, it could have been. Just imagine if you had somebody
and you didn't have the
example,
freedom to choose, because you just had this limiting belief. So it's not like I said, okay, I could easily learn to sketch, but I still want to do languages or philosophy or whatever I did. But it's because you're hurting yourself because you're thinking, no, I won't do that because I'm not good at that.
Exactly.
Just for one small thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Because for the rest of it, I was excellent at sewing and very creative. So the rest of it, I could have easily done it.
It would have been a
breeze.
Yeah, it would have been a breeze for you because you were very, very creative. Yes. Yeah, I think we were both creatives, and we were both
put down.
Put down. Yeah, I was going to say no,
by the school system, not by our parents.
Not entirely true, because I did have a lovely English teacher who would always say, lovely stories you're writing, well done, well done. So she did encourage that part of the storytelling, and that has continued. But apart from that, the rest of it was pretty. I do hope it's not like that today. But if it is, and you're a parent, become aware of it. And, if you do have kids and they start saying, no, I'm not good at that, you can always question it. and remind them,
you can teach them about limiting beliefs, because once they
do understand
you.
it. Yeah, they do. Children understand this. We taught our children at a very young age what they were.
Now they come back with it. If ever I say anything, my grown-up
so
children
do mine.
say, "Mum, that's a limiting belief you have." What happened to limiting beliefs?
I actually said, no, I can't drive at night the other day. And my 25-year-old son, Mum, that is a limiting belief. You've got special glasses for driving at night.
Exactly.
You can easily do it. And I thought, yes, that is very true. It's also a belief that, it's kind of something that I find quite convenient.
Yes.
Because I don't want to do it. But it's also because, I was frightened of it.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be freeing if you could drive?
Yes, absolutely.
I mean, I can't drive at night because I really can't see at night. I've got that night blindness, but you can.
I can now.
So you should probably free yourself from that belief.
No, I have freed
practice.
I have, yes, I've done it. I mean, when I needed to do it, I've done it.
Exactly.
But yes.
Okay, let us know what you're going to break free from this week. And as always, thank you for listening. Available on wherever you get your podcasts. Also on YouTube. Come and say hi. Lots of love and smiles from the English Sisters. Bye-bye. Bye.